Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Great, making that long trip from Mongolia to Singapore. Before we start, I just wanted to give a bit of context to the audience of how we met and how we are here right now, right? So, Chainalysis has been working the Mongolian market since 2020. Obviously, due to COVID, we could not travel, so we worked through various partners. But just a month ago, we had the privilege to participate in an event, and a group of us actually traveled to Mongolia. Thank God it was summer. If it's winter, we probably freeze over. But we were there in summer, and what we saw there just blew us away, right? Not just blown away by the hospitality of the people there, but also the projects, the blockchain projects, the crypto projects, and all this that were happening within that country. And then obviously I had the privilege to talk to Dave. He actually was having an event beside the hotel that I was staying, and it was at a theme park, and there were hundreds, if not at least close to 1,000 of people that were coming, and there were so many activities out there. And we just started talking, and he shared the story of how he started and what's happening in Mongolia and how it was actually transforming lives. So, I thought to myself, given the current climate, obviously it's a bear market and a lot of bad news. It was important to remind the community that there are good use cases, there are lives that are being changed by really good projects that were intended to do as such, right? And so I invited him, and he's been kind enough to make his way down, and he has actually also prepared a video about Mongolia and what's been happening in Mongolia. And so right now we'll just take some time to look at the video that he has prepared, right? So Dave, let's start right from the beginning, right? I just found out today that you met CZ 10 over years ago. So your journey into crypto started like way early. So just walk us through, right? How did it all start, and how did you end up in Mongolia?
So, going back 4 to 5 years, 5 or 6 years actually now, going back 2016, 17, I think the whole world was extremely into arbitrage trading with kimchi premium, with Bitcoin, kind of having those offset prices globally. And my background being in physical commodities, I was always traveling globally and had the opportunity to be able to partake on a lot of these arbitrage trading. And it was around 2017 where I met a gentleman who I'm proud to call my brother now, who's standing back there, Gantig, was the only man in Mongolia in 2017 mandating and advocating the belief of crypto, Bitcoin, blockchain. And he started the first Facebook group that led to 40,000 plus members. He was the first CEO of the very first crypto exchange, bringing the first Bitcoin ATM machine. You're talking like 6 years ago, right? And had a privilege of meeting him, becoming friends with him, and now becoming a partner and a brother, where it kind of led our link together of Mongolia into the crypto space. Fast-tracked that to during the COVID, like the rest of the world, but as an emerging market, Mongolia was extremely impacted by the inflation and the market situation, since Mongolia has to depend extremely heavy on import and export. And Gantig sat through with wonderful partners, who I also call now, proud to call my brothers. One of them also here with us. All from leaders in their own industry, whether it's forex trading, commodity trading, crypto trading. Gantig put this dream team together where he thought that what if there's a way for us to utilize a blockchain, utilize a crypto, to be able to benefit the everyday Joes in Mongolia that could fight inflation, that could offer diversification in investments in a most simple way, 1, 2, 3, voila, and to be able to kind of provide that alternative lifestyle that could be beneficial in the long run. And that was 10 months ago. So everything that you've seen on the video, we've come a long way, but it's only been 10 months. And that's how first cryptocurrency project was initiated out of Mongolia, which is called Inflation Hedging Coin. And from there, we expanded into exchange, into esports, into basketball team to continuously connect with the community. And there's other companies, what's amazing is that a lot of the traditional companies, we talk about, previous, the speakers and so forth. We're talking regulations, adoptions. SPC, Mongol NFT, you've seen, Mongol NFT is driven by the #1 tech company out of Mongolia for the, last how many years? They work with traditional banks, companies creating apps to, you name it, they're the ones. And after the adaptation and introduction of the blockchain and the crypto, they immediately got on, they immediately understood and adopted the entire ecosystem around the metaverse, around NFTs, issuing over 60,000, reaching over 1 million users. When there's little over 3 million population in Mongolia, that's 1/3 of the entire population that are holding an NFT. StorePay Coin, they are a traditional microfinancing company like you see in a lot of emerging markets. And now they've grown so much that they're going from microfinancing into offering, financing and purchasing a vehicle, real estate, and so on. And they've also integrated a tokenomics where a borrowers holding the tokens are able to get rebates and discounts on their principals, offering these unique, real factual utilities to these borrowers. So to be able to witness these things and to kind of come together, it's unreal.
And you talk about such a strong adoption rate in Mongolia. What do you think kind of drives that? What separates Mongolians being so open to such technologies? Yeah.
I think so. What's extremely unique, and I think that is the gem, the hidden gem of Mongolia. Um, in the past, a lot of the bigger global companies would find Mongolia too small, out of reach with, only 3 million population. But in a tech world, in a digital world that we are entering, it becomes a very ideal proof of concept place for a lot of the tech companies, blockchain, crypto, any of these projects to be able to go in, penetrate, and provide that proof of concept that you can replicate globally. Out of the 3 million, most of the population are extremely young. And with confidence, we're able to say that 1 out of 3 people are either investor, trader, or a crypto asset holding user already. So that gives a very confidence in a lot of the projects to be able to provide a good sense of what they're proposing and how it could be interacted, how it could be utilized, and how it can be interacted with daily lives and the utilities that they're trying to prove, I guess, correct? And I think in our space, the most difficult or the biggest challenges or the things that we have to highlight is we mentioned, transforming Mongolia, but I think it's, transformation to inspiration to execution to delivery. It comes down to trust, transparency, regulations, and also the love and the support within the community. And I think that's what Mongolia offers. In the last 9 to 10 months since our launching and over 40 cryptocurrencies with a lot of other exchanges offering these amazing opportunities in Mongolia, the government have also been extremely supportive where now cryptocurrency is legalized in Mongolia. And right now with the FRC, the Financial Regulatory Committee, all the exchanges, top exchanges are working very closely on regulating and coming up with policies in place so that the users are able to utilize these exchanges in comfort, but also in a full transparency where it's not a wild, wild west anymore, which is important. And in addition, with all the milestones that we reached, it provides that love and support within the community where, like I said, over 30% of the population are in belief and they trust in the blockchain. They trust that the technology that we advocate are there for the long run, and they are there to benefit and will be the future. So when you have that belief and trust from the community, being able to utilize that and put in a positive way to be able to impact daily lives and make those changes is what I think is what we're doing in transforming Mongolia today.
Yeah, I mean, Dave, when I speak to you, one of the things that really stands out to me is the fact that, and since you shared that Gantik had that vision right at the beginning, right, was the fact that beyond, the business side of things was how passionate you were about the changes that it was making, in the lives of, everyday Mongolians, especially the youths. And I got to see it firsthand at the event that you were hosting, just to share a story. So while I was chatting with him, every once in a while, someone would come and just stand beside, us, and I'm like, okay. And all they wanted to do was to take a picture with Dave. And everyone that was in that project space, they wanted to take a project. And I could see in their eyes, they had been impacted in some ways, right? Whether it was through e-gaming or through crypto or through, other type of financial services. So I think maybe we want to hear from you some success stories, right, that you can share of people's lives that has been changed, and I guess that kinds of drives you to work even harder because it's a huge responsibility. When you talk about love and trust from the community, to that responsibility to continue to have, right, and build upon that trust and, yeah.
So in a crypto sector, I think the biggest success that we could share is the fact that a crypto project out of Mongolia in the last 8 months is now listed on tier 1 exchange on KuCoin. But in addition to the listing, KuCoin have gone further than that, where prior to our listing, our collaboration, Mongolians weren't able to register and pass a KYC. However, after listening to our story, after seeing the transformation, seeing the difference that, not only our group, but other companies like SPC, Mongol NFTs that were impacting on the users, on the investors, on the everyday Joes in Mongolia, they decided to update their registration process where now every Mongolian user is able to sign up and pass a KYC and utilize KuCoin legally and safely and to start trading your crypto. So that would be the most big highlight in the success in the crypto sector of what we've done. And I think that is one of the big impacts that the community have in us to where we're not just worried about getting our token listed, but rather we are actually considering for the users. We're actually considering and mandating and advocating for the Mongolians, right? For the better, for the more of a stable ecosystem, right? Because it's not just about us. In an esports space, for example, our IT esports team, everybody hears about these amazing teams out of Europe, North America, in China, Bangkok. Our team out of Mongolia, in the 20 years history of CSGO, made it to the majors for the first time. We got IC major stickers finally. Right now we're ranked globally, ranking 27. Our PUBG team, our female team is Southeast Asia, ranking number 1. I think last week they just had another tournament, season 2, and they got first place again. Our male team are Southeast Asia, ranking number 3, to kind of give that perspective on, with, again, less than or roughly 3 million people, we're competing with, and with the resources that are, we don't have millions of dollars with, overseas coach, etc., where we truly have these young individuals that are truly gifted, that love the game, and they're dedicating their entire life to really showcase and to be able to go out there to the big league and to accomplish these amazing milestones. It's really a surreal experience, right? And in for an exchange, XMeta, it's powered by Binance Cloud, partnering with Binance, where we're working together every day to better projects, and we're working to, empower this financial sectors. We're empowering to do more together jointly, but in a form of a blockchain educational way to the masses, so that we're able to educate, we're able to mandate, and we're able to teach. Where again, it's not about the hype. It's not about just being the number 1, but we're really working together to advocate the education. How do we stay away from the scam? How do we stay away from these pump and dumps? How do we stay away from these projects that just kind of go out with the wind? So we're really focused on educating and really empowering that movement through the blockchain technology and being able to reach the masses with it. So that's also extremely exciting for an exchange that was only launched 4 months ago. So that's also exciting. And I think these kind of details really, people are able to relate to it, right? The things that we've been doing, things that, and when I say we, I mean on behalf of all the projects in Mongolia and all the founders in Mongolia who are working hard every day. Their story just needs to be heard. Because I believe that in Southeast Asia, overall, Mongolia could outnumber any of these countries in terms of adoption, user cases, proof of concept, the regulation, the environment, the atmosphere that the Mongolia brings in our space, where I just wish that our story can be told, and for these global projects, global companies, to be able to hear and acknowledge that Mongolia is there, and we're doing all these different things, where on your next stop, on your next schedule, before thinking Korea, Japan, Malaysia, Vietnam, I just wish that, you guys could think of Mongolia and be able to, see what possibilities could be, from Mongolia as well.
No, that's very well put, and I must say that during my time there, obviously we had the opportunity to talk to FRC and some of the government agencies as well as the private sector, and you mentioned about how open and collaborative they are with the industry, and I think that kind of helps the industry to be where it is today in terms of the growth, in terms of the impact that it has. And maybe in your view, as we close off this session, what are some of the things that you are looking forward to in the next 1 to 2 years in Mongolia? And how can the industry, companies like Chainalysis and other blockchain companies, bring that technology and the expertise, and help support Mongolia as a country? Yeah.
I think when you think of Mongolia, people think about Genghis Khan, the Silk Road, Marco Polo, and I have this vision in my head. I believe that what we have started from our company, IPIC Global, which led to all these other great companies adopting and creating these new, projects. I believe that we're rediscovering the Silk Road that once existed with these thousands of vendors, merchants, people that used to utilize Mongolia that connected the Eurasia, right? Europe between Asia. And I believe that what I would love to see in the next year or two is that IPIC Global will do everything to continuously discover, rediscover, and rebuild that Silk Road in a digital way, on a digital platform, on a blockchain, or in an ecosystem, and be able to continuously advocate and mandate where all these other global companies like Chainalysis, to Jumio, to Binance, KuCoin, all these other amazing companies to be able to utilize the platform, the Silk Road that we built, that we rediscover, and to be able to connect with these other Mongolian companies, with Mongolia, with the government, and Mongolia could go back to how people used to remember Mongolia as, right? Where Mongolia can be that hub in a digital space that connects Asia to Europe and become, once again, a dominant player, a dominant country in the blockchain crypto space that we see today.
Thanks, Dave. I'll end the session with this punchline. Dave isn't even Mongolian, right? But here he is, just doing what I think he loves. You love Mongolia, and what he sees, right? The impact that does. So I just hope this session kind of gives everyone some insight into Mongolia, but also the fact that there are projects out there in the world that's making a difference, right? And so beyond all these bad news, encouraging news that we are in the right industry. So thank you, Dave, for your time. Thanks for traveling down.
Thank you for having me.
Here,
Thanks,
right?
guys.